Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragon Hill Games, and welcome to This Week in MTG Finance. As always, I'd like to kick things off by thanking MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. Well, we got a lot to talk about this week, so buckle in. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and we might as well start right here with this guy, Oko Thief of Crowns. This guy, unfortunately, is breaking the game. So now that Mythic Championship 6 is in the books, let's have a look at some of the stats. On day 1, 69% of the decks that took the field were Oko decks. By day 2, there was a 71% rate of Oko decks, and in the top 8, 75% of the decks were Oko. Do we think we have a problem here? I mean, it's extremely rare that Wizards will ban a card from the most current set, especially when it's the premier card in the set, but I really think we're in a position where we have no choice left at all. I mean, if 75% of the decks that top 8 a Mythic Championship are basically the same deck or some slight variant of it, there obviously needs to be something done. So what does this mean for us financially? Well, that's a really good question. I mean, if he gets banned in Standard, I'm sure we're going to see some kind of dip, but I really don't know how much of a dip we're actually going to see. If we have a look at this list right here, I mean, he's appearing in every format that you can think of. The number of decks is just a phenomenal amount, and it's increasing every day. This card is breaking Magic right now. It's causing a lot of problems in a lot of formats. So what does this mean? Well, the downtick that we've been seeing on the graph is because there's rampant speculation that he is going to be banned in Standard, and rightfully so. And if that does turn out to be the case, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see some more downside, but my position on Oko Thief of Crowns is still hold. I mean, I can't see a ban in all formats. That would be extremely unlikely. However, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. And in the event that he holds in other formats, you know, this is one of the best Planeswalkers ever printed. So year from now, 2 years from now, again, assuming that it's not banned in every format, this has got to be an $80, $100 Planeswalker. It's up there with the best of them. Alright, let's put all the Oko shenanigans aside for a minute before we turn into a bunch of elks and have a look at what's really driving the market this week. That's right, folks, it's Pioneer. One of the biggest movers this week in the Pioneer format is Sphinx's Revelation. Originally printed in Return to Ravnica with a couple other minor printings, it's no surprise that this card is worth more than 4 times what it was just a couple of weeks ago. It's excellent at giving blue-white the opportunity to stabilize against an aggressive opponent, and being instant speed means that you can reload your hand at the end of your opponent's turn and put yourself into a commanding position going into your turn. Another big mover this week is Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. I mean, this card was just $4 a few weeks ago, and now we're staring down a price of $21. The reason being is that she works extremely well in Hardened Scales Affinity, which is turning out to be one of the top decks. Speaking of Hardened Scales Affinity, key components of that deck, including Hardened Scales, Walking Ballista, and Hangerback Walker, are all seeing dramatic price increases. And finally, under the Crazy Spikes category this week, we have the Fast Lands from the Kaladesh block. I mentioned these a couple of weeks ago as cards you should be picking up as many copies of as fast as you can, and my position on these, even at these prices, is still buy. The reason for that being is that we only have the 5 color pairings of Fast Lands and actually Pain Lands in the Pioneer format. So the likelihood would be that we would get the opposite colors printed before we would be seeing a reprint of these 5 color pairings, which means that we're a long way out from seeing a fresh supply of these guys coming into the marketplace, so the likelihood is that they're going to continue to increase in price. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for being here. If you're a subscriber, we really appreciate your support, and if not, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's talk cards I'm investing in this week. And at the top of that list is the Pain Lands most recently printed in Magic Origins, those being Llanowar Wastes, Battlefield Forge, Caves of Koilos, Yavimaya Coast, and Shivan Reef. Look, folks, the reality is we just don't have the same color fixing in Pioneer that we do in Modern. So lands like these are definitely making their way into decks, and as I mentioned earlier, it seems unlikely to me that we would see a reprint of these lands anytime soon because we're going to be needing the opposite color ones in Pioneer. In fact, these are already starting to tick up, so make sure you fill out your playset now. If not, grab some more for investment purposes while you can still get them for these prices. And the next one I have for you today under the Invest In category is Rest in Peace. That's right, from Return to Ravnica. The reality is, graveyard strategies are a thing in every format, and Pioneer is no different, and the be-all end-all answer in white is Rest in Peace. This card is worth just half of what it was before we had a fresh influx from Masters 25 and Signature Spellbook Gideon, and once somebody figures out how to break the graveyard in Pioneer, we'll probably be seeing these $12 marks again, so pick them up now while you can get them in the $5.50 range. And the last one I have for you guys is our speculation play for the week. That's right, and it's Starfield Mystic from Core Set 2020. Think about this, folks. What's the next set that we're getting? It's Theros Beyond Death. And what does Starfield Mystic do? He makes enchantment spells cost 1 less to cast. Oh, and by the way, when an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Star Mystic. So what's Theros loaded with? That's right, enchantments and enchantment creatures. He's almost like an enchantment lord. Get them now while they're $1, because these are probably going to be $10 once everybody figures this out. Alright folks, I really hope you enjoyed this week in MTG Finance. We do this every Monday. You can find a link for TCG Player where you can find every card we mentioned in this video, and using that link greatly helps support this channel. Alright folks, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.